Hello, everyone, and welcome back into Conversations with Chris and Cameron. My name is Chris Beesmore, and you are.
Now I'm Cameron Waddle.
And we have a lot coming up in today's episode. We are diving into the Kentucky basketball team as summer workouts have already kicked off, and we're also excited to have a former Kentucky Wildcat and national championship, and also the GM of La Familia for the basketball tournament joining us, Twany Beckham. So it's going to be a great podcast, and we can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, legend, Twany Beckham. Very appreciative of him coming on. Like you said, national champion, GM, businessman, man of many titles. So excited for that interview.
You're not wrong. Even though there were some technical issues on my end, I have to figure out what's wrong with my Wi-Fi here. Like, I don't understand. I'm right next to the router. It should be working perfect.
Hey, happens to the best of us. It'll happen. We'll get through it. We'll keep it going. But yeah, it's
You're
fine.
not, you're not wrong. And honestly, it made me feel like Sean Smith from Sources Say because his Wi-Fi is always acting up.
Big shout out to Sean Smith. I was actually for those of y'all that don't know, I think in episode one I mentioned that I do coaching at a high school that I went to. I saw Sean the other day. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but there's this St. X shootout. It's where like a lot of the best teams around the state go and play every June. And so yeah, he was there with Douglas. Douglas got a great team this year. Really good. Uh the Surratt kid, DeMarcus Surratt, ball player. He's gonna be amazing. But so shout out to Sean that you mentioned him. I figured I'd throw in there that I got to see him the other day. Wish I could have got to talk to him, but
Yeah. And I love Sean Smith. I interacted with him sadly after they lost to Great Crossings. That game was insane. I was at that game, and of course, Malachi Moreno went off, led them to the Sweet 16, and then, of course, Great Crossings eventually won it all in Ruppin. That was a great moment this past year.
yeah. Yeah, that would have been an awesome game to go to. I wish I could have got out to that one, but not super close to that area, unlike you. So you're in a good spot for it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that would have been an awesome game.
You're not wrong. But like I said, we're going to be talking about Kentucky basketball, and workouts have actually finally started, and Mark Pope and everybody they're attacking, and we're hitting it hard right now with practices.
Yeah, I tried to get some like I guess scoop from somebody around the program. I was like, has anybody stood out yet? And the answer was no, but it's not in a bad way. It's just that they had done like a lot of like skill drills and so just not that there's nobody standing out, but I think once they get into like fives and everything, and once we see those pickup runs, people will start to stand out a little bit. But yeah, like you said, we're getting started. Everybody's getting after it. Even Coach Pope, they put out the picture of him running on the treadmill. So not only the players were getting after it, but yeah, day one got everybody locked in.
You're not wrong. And I think the biggest thing I saw at the end of the video is Otega Oweh being the leader. He basically finished up the post practice where they all huddled together, and he said, "Good first day, y'all." So I feel like Oweh is already showing his leadership skills. Him being the second year at UK, and he and probably Brendan Garrison are going to be the main leaders this upcoming year.
Yeah, that other than that video, we've really just received pictures from practice and even just the pictures. It's so cool to see the haircut away, just like this new version of him, this leader, like you mentioned, kind of just corralling the troops and getting everybody going. But yeah, the pictures of him were super awesome, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. The leader that we'll have in Oway, you can't ask for much else around college basketball.
Yeah, and we'll play the video if y'all haven't seen it on the Kentucky men's basketball team social media page. So here's the video if y'all haven't looked at it yet.
Every single day, every single minute, get better. This is how we get there. This is how you make something sacred. This is what real sacrifice is. It's how you make something sacred. You just move on to the next hard thing. Okay? I like it, Jaden Lowe. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, Brayden. That's what I'm talking about. Get out, Jan. Get out, Jan. Get out. Come on. That's it. That's it. Beautiful. Way to own it, kid. Very nice. Very nice. Good job. Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Yeah, D8. Yeah. Good first day, y'all. Family on three. One, two, three. Family. Good job, boys. Good job.
So we just got done watching this video of the Kentucky men's basketball team. If you're not watching it on YouTube, of course you've heard the sounds of it through, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But Mark Pope wants his team to hit the ground running, and I believe this year they can do that with how much experience they have this upcoming year. Of course, we had I believe seven seniors last year, seven fifth year seniors last year, but we still have a lot of experience this upcoming year because we've got returning players with, Otega Way, Brandon Garrison, Colin Chandler, and Trent Noah. So you got four players actually returning back to the program.
Yeah, that core group is super special. Like you said, guys returning, retention is more important now than ever in college basketball, and it's been proven year after year with seeing who wins national championships, who wins a lot of games. So yeah, having that retention and that core group right there is gonna be amazing.
You're not wrong. And I think one of the photos I saw of Colin Chandler, he looks so much muscular compared to last year. Like, it's insane how much muscle he's gained since getting onto UK's campus last year. And you also have to add in that he didn't play basketball or, lift or anything for 2 whole years while he was on his mission.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I know exactly what picture you're talking about because I thought the same thing. Um, Yeah, that guy's been working. I mean, that was like the John Rothstein podcast. Shout out to John Rothstein if you all didn't see it. Mark Pope literally got a call during that interview where Colin is in the middle of a workout and just decided to call Coach Pope or whatever. And but he's literally working out at that point. Like he's just like Pope said, you have to try to get him out of the gym because he's just always in there working.
But we were just talking about how Colin Chandler, like, I believe Colin Chandler blew the cover that the interview was pre-recorded between John Rothstein and Mark Pope because Mark Pope was like, "Is this live or whatever?" He's like, "Well, I wanted it to be live, but I believe it was
Yeah.
recorded."
Yeah, John Rothstein is one of one, and he was kind of disappointed in Pope kind of blowing the cover there. But yeah, I love John Rothstein so much. That man loves college basketball more than any humans love anything. It feels like he's one of a kind.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like, he does not mention anything other than college basketball. He doesn't mention anything about his personal life or anything. The one thing I do like about him is like every morning he'll tweet out like every day is a gift. I forgot who it's from, but like I like waking up to those morning tweets, even though it's the same tweet over and over again. But it's still a special meaning.
Yeah, it's like 6 a.m. or something every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's good stuff. And like you said, he never really brings up anything else. But there is one time I don't remember. I mean, it was probably I guess it was pardon my take with Barstool, but they had interviewed him one time and they asked him what it was like being a dad, and he still referred that as college basketball. He said like being a dad is like being a team that's I think he said playing in a bye game right now and you're tied at the under four timeout or something. Like it was like he still related it to college basketball at the end of the day, and they just asked him about his dad life. Like it was crazy.
You're not wrong, but yeah, like I said, I've never met John Rothstein, but he seems like a great guy, and maybe hopefully one day I'll get to meet him along with you, brother.
Yeah, yeah, that would be amazing. That's a all time celebrity that I would love to. I actually saw him the other day. I don't remember. So I've been seeing these like all over. The airplane seating charts or whatever, and you have like
Uh-huh.
two options or whatever. I saw some. It was some small account, I think, but they had put one where it was John Rothstein and somebody else, and I was like, "That's the row I'm picking." Like, I want to talk to John Rothstein about college basketball for hours. Like, it would be amazing.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and he's definitely knowledgeable. Like he probably spends, his whole day, searching up college basketball or reading the news. I'm like, how can you be a father? But he's probably a great father as well. Shout out John,
Yeah, yeah. Big shout out to John Rothstein. Love that guy.
the
We sleep in May.
college basketball GOAT insider, you could say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Facts.
I'm blanking on this one person. I'm pretty sure he does both SEC football and basketball. He's like a sideline reporter, but I've met him a few times and I like him. I'm just blanking on his name.
What's he look like?
Uh, he's a tall, I picture him as like a tall country boy. He looks still pretty young, of course not. I would say he's probably like 40, I would say,
Like
but
Marty Smith
I think it's Marty Smith.
with
Like
the
I said,
spiked hair or whatever.
yeah, like here. Yeah, that's definitely.
Legend. I met Marty at a it was a Kentucky Mississippi State basketball game when Shaden Sharp was supposed to play. I
Mhm.
remember like the details of it. I met him there. I love Marty so much. Marty's amazing.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like whenever I went to the SEC basketball tournament the past few years with my station at ABC, he's been a great person to interact with, and I was close with his age. He's 49, so I said 40s. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, no, he's a legend. I love Marty.
yeah, you're not wrong. He's 1 year away from being 50.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to meet him and like actually sit down and talk with him because that guy,
Mhm.
yeah, he's awesome. He's amazing. And his co-host, or I don't know who's technically the host of the show, but Marty and McGee, Ryan McGee seems amazing too.
Yeah.
They're just what a duo.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But we'll get back to talking about Kentucky basketball, though, because enough talking about John Rothstein and Martin Smith, But we'll talk a little bit more about Kentucky basketball. They announced their home and away SEC schedule today. The home games are Florida, Georgia, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Missouri, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Texas, and Vanderbilt for their home games. Meanwhile, their away games, they play at Alabama, at Arkansas, at Auburn, at Florida, at LSU, at South Carolina, at Tennessee, at Texas A&M, and at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I'm super excited. That schedule's awesome. Obviously, I think we mentioned it where the SEC did a huge disservice to themselves not getting Arkansas home and away.
Mhm.
But that game down there, must win game. We can't lose to Calipari 2 years in a row. But
You're not wrong.
um, yeah, what a schedule. I love that we got Florida back to being a home and away. Like that's amazing. I love that because we just got Florida at home last year and it was such an incredible game. And we'll
Yeah.
both probably be the top two teams in the SEC this incoming year. So uh, or coming into the year, we'll both be the top two teams. So it'd be awesome to see. Um, yeah, it's amazing schedule. Amazing schedule.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And like you said, it's great to play Florida twice this year. I would do away with playing against Vandy twice if we could, because I would much rather play Arkansas twice, or something like that.
Yeah, so we got what is it? It's just Vandy, Tennessee, and Florida. Is that the only teams we played twice?
I believe so. So,
Okay.
yeah. I believe you're right about that, but it'll be interesting to see what happens, with the home and away games. But I could see UK doing a lot better. I know last year they went 10-8. My goal was hopefully 12-6 or 13-5 last year, but they fell a couple games in short, and that's my goal this year to hopefully win at least 12 or 13 games. I'm hoping 13 this year, though. 13-5. That would be nice.
Yeah, that's a good target goal. Obviously the SEC can be a very good conference this year, but won't be near as tough as it was last year. It's almost impossible. So, yeah, I think we'll be winning a whole lot of games this year against some very, very good competition, though.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Last year was insane. The gauntlet. Alabama, Auburn, Ole Miss, Vandy, Tennessee, Kentucky, to just name a few teams. Like it was crazy how deep it was. And you know, you know what everybody's joke about the SEC was this past year?
What's that?
It was like, how are y'all 500 in conference play?
Oh,
That joke was,
yeah.
and then of
Who
course,
was that? That was Archie Miller. Wasn't he the one that got with it
yeah,
at
I think he
first?
got, and then like some announcer got as well.
Yeah. And they said, man, everybody talks about the college basketball, like, oh, you got to win all these games, everything like this. SEC is so good, but they're only 500
I
since
know.
January 1st. What it was like, man,
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah. And then of course Jacob Polacek of KSR asked Mark Pope that question and Mark Pope got a good laugh out of it.
Yeah.
He,
Yeah. No, that was so funny. That
he's
was good.
like, it's unacceptable that we're 500 in SEC play. Like we should be doing a lot better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think this year might be a little bit of the same, honestly.
Yeah, you're not wrong. 500 in SEC play for everybody. But
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, so we'll see what happens though. But I would love to see, 12 teams. I believe it was 12 teams from the SEC to make the tournament again this past year. It might have been 14. I think it was actually 14 teams made it to
I think
the,
it was 14.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it was 14.
14 teams made it to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, setting a record.
Yeah, you're not wrong, but
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with that. And then, of course, we wanted to talk about the USA team, the under 19 team. Of course, Malachi Moreno did not make the first cut, but as Jack Pilgrim reported of KSR that he suffered a minor injury and it was a mutual decision for Malachi Moreno to come back to Lexington. So hopefully he's okay, as long as it's only a minor injury and nothing more than that. I think he'll be fine. Did I cut out?
Yeah, no doubt. And in one of the videos it's kind of making waves. Yeah, you did. You cut up. Um, but you're good right now. So hopefully it'll stay. Um, but yeah, one of the videos that was kind of making waves was Mark Pope with Taylon Kinney, a 2020, what is he, 2027 recruit. Um,
2026.
Yeah, he's this year. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
2026.
four-star.
But with him over there, feeding him the ball, whatever, like having their little like small talk, a lot of Louisville fans were just like, dude, how is this legal? Like, how is this fair? And then everybody's kind of like, dude, it's just a USA coach working with a USA player at the U19 camp. Like, this is nothing. Like, this is completely legal. But hopefully, he put in a good word. And I mean, we got Taylor Kenny coming on a visit soon, so that'll be super exciting. Just had Kyron Stokes visit.
Mhm.
Yeah, getting these dudes in, and I saw Jasper talking to Jason Crow too. So it's going to be awesome. There's so many Kentucky connections over there, and I love that Pope was able to
Yeah,
get over there. It was awesome.
you're not wrong, and it makes me wonder or question, did Mark Pope get that all scheduled and set up? Because, he was the coach and Taylor Kinney was right there. He was like, might as well set up the official visit.
Yeah, if that wasn't talked about, the timing is super interesting. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And like you said, it'll be interesting to see who UK gets this upcoming year with Tyron Stokes, the number one overall player. He's from Louisville, of course, but he currently plays over in California, high school ball over there. I think it's like Notre Dame High School or something in California. So it'll be interesting to see who UK gets this upcoming year. I would love to see Jason Crow and Tyron Stokes, if UK could get those two players, and if we could get Taylor Kinney as well, I'm like, that's rats. I think that's good enough. A three-man class, some people want four or so.
Yeah, that would be a special, special group. That trio would be wild, and I think we got a great opportunity to do it. But man, Louisville's making a pitch for both Stokes and Kenny. That's for sure.
You're not wrong, and have you seen all the good old viral memes of Taylor Kinney being 6'7"? That's my favorite thing about him.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's goofy. He actually just released that water, 6'7" water.
Oh,
It's wild.
you released some water. I didn't see that.
What's that?
I,
You
I
cut
said
out a little bit.
I said he released some water. I didn't see that.
Yeah, he released 6'7" water. So yeah, Taylor Kenny's taking it and running with it for sure.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Hey, if you become a viral sensation like me for not even being 6'7", you might as well go along with it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, honestly, if he doesn't need the social media fame or anything, but it would skyrocket even more if he went to Kentucky.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and of course he won't grow to being 6'7". I don't know how tall he is. He's probably like 6'1" or 6'2" right now, but he probably won't get too much.
Yeah.
There's no way that he'll hit like an Anthony Davis growth spurt and become like 6'10" out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 6'2" right now.
Hey,
But yeah, so only 5 inches to go.
oh yeah, only five. He can definitely do that before he graduates high school. No biggie, no problem.
100%. AD did it. He's got it.
Yeah, if AD can do it, why not Taylor Kinney?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. A few things I wanted to go back on though, talking about Kentucky basketball and their practice. I also saw, Jaden Quaintance, he's at practice right now, and I'm like, what is he doing? Is he still recovering from his ACL injury? Of course, he got surgery back in March, I believe. over his ACL, but you already see him at practice and potentially doing stuff.
Yeah, you cut out a little bit. But I pieced together enough that I'll be able to answer it. So if you're able to uh make this flow a little bit. Um yeah, I actually tweeted out a picture of JQ because I was just stunned. There was the picture of him and Malachi Marino just fully dressed, not I mean he had a leg sleeve on, but like still, he's just out there hooping. Like it was so cool to see. Having Quaton's already back on the court is such a scary hours out of Lexington. We'll just put it that way. For the country, you better be worried because man, getting Jaden Quaton's back this early, man, Louisville might have been. I don't know how the scheduling all worked, but Louisville might have been trying to duck smoke scheduling that early. But they are not going to avoid it if he's already getting back uh, to on court action. It's crazy.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and you're right about that. Jaden Quayton's he's going to be a dog. Like we have this upcoming interview with Twany Beckham, and we talked about, Anthony Davis, his Anthony Davis moment whenever he was playing against him and everything. And I could see Jaden Quayton's being nearly similar to Anthony Davis. Of course, I don't think he'll be as dominant as AD, but he's still going to be a great player. And I think Quayton's could easily be a top five draft pick this upcoming year, and maybe not even top five number one.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. Yeah, the ceiling is literally endless for him. Like you said, he's going to be a dog. One thing I noticed, just because this is who I am, I'm a big shoe guy. I have a shoe collection. I've loved shoes my whole life. The shoes on this team are incredible. There's been interviews talking to Colin Chandler about the personalities on this team, but the shoe game is just absolutely incredible. There's Kobe's everywhere. I think it was Walker Horn wearing the GGs, the fours. Malachi Moreno was wearing the Kobe sixes. Like
Mhm.
the shoe game is incredible. I think the viral picture of one of Cam Williams or Denzel Aberdeen was wearing the What the Kobe eights, and then one of them was wearing the Italian camo Kobe six. They were just, it's just awesome. It adds to the swag, the branding of UK. We're just repping Kobe. I mean, Vanessa Bryant.
Mhm.
Whenever Cal was still here, they brought us all the Mamba stuff, and they brought it to the girls team. And so just having this connection with Nike and being able to rock all these Kobe's, it's amazing. So I know the kids love it.
Mhm.
I love it personally just because I'm super into shoes. But that was one thing I noticed from all these pictures coming out.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and I'm not a big shoe fan. Like of course, if you want to rock basketball shoes, you can go ahead, but I'm plain and simple. I wear, multiple different tennis shoes, but nothing special like Skechers, Nike, but I don't look at all the different shoes, but like you said, they're repping Kobe, and that's the main thing. And it'll be great to see the shoe collection that Kentucky will have this upcoming year. I know I recently watched an old interview. It was Nas Reed, of course, he played at LSU, but uh, he used to play with Jameson Johnson, who plays with the Pacers, of course. But Jameson Johnson paid for all of the shoes for Nas Reed at once, and he spent like 20 or 30,000 on him for basketball shoes. I'm like 20 or 30,000, good Lord.
Man, it gets up there. And for me personally, I just paid sadly about 300 for a pair of what the Kobe 8. So I'm right there with them. I understand the prices and all that, but I had to get the what the Kobe 8s. They're too clean. But um yeah, 20, $30,000, especially for an NBA player. It's wild, but I completely get it. It gets up there.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And the next podcast, you'll have to show out your new shoes that you've got.
Will do. Will do.
And we also want to report some breaking news just now. Kentucky football has got another commitment. It's a running back. It's Delvecho Deuce Austin the second. He's a 6 foot, 200 pound running back. And he was I'm trying to read more about him. He announced the decisions just a few days after making an official visit to Lexington. He also previously visited Minnesota, Memphis, and USF. So that's some breaking news to report. So Kentucky football has been on a roll since Vince Merrill has left, though. It's insane.
Yeah, that's wild. I didn't even see that just now. Oh, yep. All right, there it is. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, I mean how many is that? Is that like
Six,
six
I think
since
now.
That's wild. They just continue
Hmm.
to just rack them up. That's wild. Yeah, obviously I don't really know anything about this kid a whole lot. Yeah, the he was a top 75 best prospect in the state of Alabama. Yeah, I mean I'll take
Yeah.
that. Running back commits over Minnesota, South Florida, Virginia, UAB, Memphis. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
big pickup. That's awesome.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's a big pickup. So we just wanted to report about the breaking news. Of course, this podcast probably won't get uploaded until Thursday, but gotta get that breaking news in whenever we can. And then just going back to Kentucky basketball real quick, and we'll wrap up this podcast in shortly. But you know who else I saw back on the Kentucky men's basketball team?
Hold on, he cut out right there.
I said, you know who else I saw on the Kentucky men's basketball team?
Who's that?
Zach Toe, he's back, I believe, this upcoming year. Like I saw him in the practice photos.
Yeah, yeah, Zach Towel, man. He's already a UK legend. If you ever wear the jersey, you're a legend. So
Mhm.
excited to get him back.
Even though he didn't get a jersey until like the NCAA tournament or something like that
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah. Hey, whenever you get it, you get
Yeah, you're
it.
not wrong. But I'm glad he's back. Of course, I'm going to miss the GOAT, Grant Darbyshire. He's going to be at UC with Kirk Carissa, so it'll be great to see Kirk Carissa and Grant on the same team together.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. At least I'll already have some familiarity within the
Yeah,
program.
yeah, you're not wrong. And then I texted my girlfriend's dad last night about the news, and her dad texted me back to saying, I might have to sell my basketball tickets now.
Yeah, that's funny. That hey, legend.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Shout out Grant Derbyshire, though. But we'll end this podcast now. We'll get you all into our interview with Twany Beckham. It went pretty well for the most part, other than some good old technical issues on my end, but I hope you all enjoy. But this is Chris Beesmore, and
Hey, before we go, the technical difficulties happened, but you all enjoy the interview. I thought it went great. But this is Cameron Waddle. Thank you all.
yeah, peace out, everybody. Hello, everyone, and welcome back into another episode with Conversations with Chris and Cameron. I'm Chris.
And I'm Cameron.
And today we have a special guest joining us. We're joined by former Kentucky Wildcat and national champion Twany Beckham. He's the general manager of La Familia, UK's alumni team in the basketball tournament, and the man behind Champions Week in 2025, a massive event in Lexington powered by Coca-Cola Consolidated. So let's get into it. How are you doing, Twany?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Chris and Cameron, man, thank y'all for having me on. I'm doing awesome, man. Thank you all.
You're
Thank you for
welcome.
joining.
You're welcome, and like I said, what Cameron said, we appreciate you joining. We just started up this podcast, and we're just trying to, get guests and hopefully eventually get more viewers and everything.
Yes, sir.
Understood. All right, let's get into it. We'll talk a little bit right now just about your basketball journey. I mean, what was your proudest moment as a player?
I would say winning a national championship in 2012 at Kentucky, because that's you know everything you work for, right, is to win at the highest level. And then for me, I was able to win at the highest level at my dream school,
Yeah.
um, was Kentucky, and played with a lot of great players, a Hall of Fame coach.
Mhm.
It's an amazing, amazing thing. So yeah, I would say winning the national championship.
Mhm.
Yeah, so he had mentioned proudest moment. So I do have something I want to kind of go back, pick your brain a little bit about. So in high school, I'm sure we'll have some more questions about it, but there's a moment that I would say could be up there for your proudest game. There was a game you had 31 points, 11 boards, 5 assists, 7 steals in the 2007 LIT. And for those of you that don't know that aren't really around like the Louisville area or anything, the LIT is a super, super big deal. So doing that on that stage, which got you to where you won the MVP of the LIT that year, what was that game like, especially against such a big school like that, doing it on that stage?
Man, I tell everybody, man, that Ballard is like the UK of high schools, man. I was just blessed to have a huge role at Ballard from the time I was a sophomore to my senior year. And when you go play at Ballard, man, the lights are extremely big. There's been a ton of great players that have come through there. So I was just blessed to be, one of those guys that was had to live up to, the hype, and I was able to do that. And that particular game you're speaking of, was all man, it was awesome, man. I remember that exact game too, and a crazy thing, man, that I haven't never really spoke on or talked about publicly was, my entire life I've had torn hips.
Mhm.
So everything I did in high school, college, middle school, I did on two bad hips. So I sit and think about it now, like, wow, how was I able to play that well? And
Mhm.
my hips were
Mhm.
not in the best shape. So that makes, to me personally, it makes everything I was able to accomplish just amazing to me.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
that's like something you can hang your head on too. Like that's only like the half version of you. If you would
yeah.
have been fully healthy, man, that would have been cinema.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
You're not wrong. And speaking of those injuries and surgeries throughout your career, I mean, how did that shape your mindset and leadership style?
Man, I've known that, my hips were not the best. Um, I had to work that much harder, but through working harder, man, I just developed into like an incredible leader. And that's somebody that I've always been from the time I was a young child. I've always led by example. I've always led with my voice. I'm the oldest of three boys that grew up in my mom's house. So I was naturally just a born leader. I was a quarterback and the point guard my entire life until I got to Kentucky. And so that was it's just who I am, and it's who I love to be. And I think that would always be me until my time's up on this earth. Man, I just love leading people. I love helping people. I love being the first to do something. I'm not afraid to fail. I just think that's in my DNA, man, of being a strong leader.
Mhm. And
Yeah, that's incredible.
and speaking of that, I mean, what was that like being on the Kentucky men's basketball team? I know, you probably were a great player or a great person to be around with the players, like you were probably the mentor for some players. I mean, how was that?
Man, it was a time in my life, but I think one thing that I'm able to like look back on now and appreciate is that I went to Kentucky for a specific reason. Like, I was a high level Division I basketball player when I was at Mississippi State. So when I transferred to Kentucky, like I knew that, deep down inside that I could like be on a court and compete with these guys, in a large role. But what was so I think looking back on it now, what was so neat in my thinking that was that I knew that my role wasn't going to be big when I chose Kentucky.
Hmm.
So I had to come into the situation knowing that I might not ever play. I might not ever score a lot of points, but to appreciate the opportunity that Coach Cal gave me, appreciate the opportunity to play with future NBA All Stars. And I took it by the bull, and just rode that wave, man. And, created so many unbelievable relationships within my teammates and just the people in the Central Kentucky community. And man, it was probably the best decision I could ever make.
Hmm. We're glad you went.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. So with you being from Louisville, but Kentucky being your dream school, did you get any like crap about it from any guys back home when you finally got to wear the blue and white?
Nah, not really. I mean, a lot of my family are Louisville fans. My mom was a Kansas fan. So she didn't care either way. But a lot of my friends and stuff back at home, who are Louisville fans, they make comments and stuff. But I would like to say I flipped a lot of people though. A lot of people that I grew up with and friends that I knew, and even some of my family members. While I was at Kentucky, I'll transition over to BBN.
To the good side.
Yeah, to the right color.
So I do have a question for you. You mentioned playing with a lot of like future NBA talent and superstars and everything. What was like the first like I've heard people talk about like their welcome to the NBA moment, welcome to college moment. What was your first moment of like Anthony Davis is the real deal? Like was there like a play or like one thing in like practice or something where you were like, yeah, this is like normal people don't do this.
Well, Anthony Davis and I clicked immediately once he got to campus. And I honestly didn't know much about him. Social media wasn't as prevalent as it is today. So I hadn't seen many highlights or anything like that. So All I saw was this tall, lanky kid who was long and just looked like he was just excited to be there.
Mhm.
Um, but I think my first time where I looked at Anthony Davis and I realized this kid was special was when we had all the NBA players in when it was their lockout, and we got an opportunity to play with LeBron and Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, James Harden, all of those guys in the summer. And Anthony Davis looked like he was one of them.
Mhm.
Uh,
Really?
looked like he belonged. You know what I mean? He was competing at the highest level. He didn't look like he was a freshman. You know, going into his his first year playing college basketball. Like he looked like he was a 5 to 7 year NBA veteran. And that's why I knew
Wow.
that outside of him, Terrence Jones and Deron Lamb and Marcus Tigg and Darius Miller and Michael Kidd Gilchrist, who was the number 2 pick. I mean, all of those guys looked like they were NBA players against those guys. And so I knew then we were going to be special. And, we were coming off a season where we went to the Final Four the year prior.
Mhm.
So, we returned a lot of veterans, well, some veteran leadership with Darius, Terrence, and Deron. And so I knew with the group we had coming in, if they could just mix, that we were going to be special.
Yeah. And could he talk about
Yeah,
that?
that lockout story is crazy.
Yeah, could he talk a little bit more about that? Was that before the 2011-2012 season, and where was the game played at? Was it in
Yeah,
Lexington?
it was in the summertime. We were, one day we were just all working out, and I can't think of what coach told us, but somebody like made an announcement that a ton of NBA players were coming in town to scrimmage with us. And we knew, of course, that there was a lockout going on, but I don't think we expected LeBron to walk through the door, DeMarcus Cousins, Eric Bledsoe, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant. I don't think we planned for that or could expected that. But my coming to Jesus moment was with I got caught in transition trying to get back with defense on LeBron. Uh, and he took me to the post, and I tried to like brace myself to to have a good defensive stance. And he spent and dunked, and I'm running back down the court like, wow, I just checked LeBron James. So, you know what I mean? So, but it's a testament to one university, two just Coach Cal, in his relationships with those guys, and it was amazing. And I think it was a huge benefit to us having an opportunity to play with those guys in the summer.
And did y'all win that scrimmage?
It was kind of the way we did it. It was a lot of NBA guys were split on different teams, and we were split up on different teams. So there were a ton of different games being played. So there were some we won, some they won. So
You're not wrong, and that must be a special moment for you and the other team.
I mean it was incredible, man. It's a experience that hopefully one day I'll be able to tell my son about. I
Mhm.
was able to guard LeBron James, in high school.
Yeah.
And his peak.
Yeah, definitely in his peak in 2012. Well,
Yeah,
11,
that's wild.
yeah, 11. He was LeBron.
Yeah, honestly, that's before a couple rings, so you might be a big part of why he ended up winning championships, honestly.
Oh man,
Yeah. And then just to talk a little bit more, what was it like going to prep school though, right after high school?
man, it was one of the best decisions I think in my basketball career that I could have ever made. Playing basketball in Kentucky or I'll say Louisville, it was cool, but there was a ceiling far as competition that I was going to get or play against. And so, my recruitment wasn't where I wanted it to be. I was arguably the first or second best player in Kentucky that year. And my recruitment was, a lot of small majors. And so when I went to prep school, I had a chance to really isolate and work on my game, work on my academics, but it was extreme focus. And I went from, being in Louisville, having like small offers to having high major offers over, a course of 7, 8 months. And then just the teammates that I played with and the competition that we played against was all high level. And man, I feel like it was the best basketball I had ever played when I went to prep school.
Hmm. Understood.
Yeah,
I'll let
go
you.
ahead. Okay. Yeah, well, speaking of that, like you saying, like leaving the city or whatever, obviously, like you said, the city of Louisville and Kentucky in general has this like ceiling. Outside of the obvious guys, like the NBA players that you played and Anthony Davis and all of them, like who's the best player, toughest player you've ever guarded?
outside of Kentucky too.
Yeah, outside of just like the obvious, like huge, yeah, outside of Kentucky teammates, outside of NBA players, maybe somebody that just kind of, maybe at prep school or maybe while you were at UK or whatever, that like just kind of stunned you. Like, hold on, I didn't know, I wasn't expecting this.
That's the best player I think I've ever played against. Well, I'm not gonna say ever played against, but one of the toughest players that I've ever guarded was Isaiah Thomas. Uh,
Okay.
the Isaiah Thomas that averaged 30 for the Boston Celtics 1 year.
Where was that at?
Prep school. He had
Prep
40.
school?
He had 48 on us, and he was only 5'8".
Only 5'8". Good Lord.
Stunning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was extremely hard to guard.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then of course he had hip surgery after that year, and then his NBA career.
Never, yeah,
Like,
but never, yeah, had him. Yeah, same. He had the same surgeries that I had.
mhm.
His NBA career was never the same.
Yeah, sadly. And he looked great, you know. He was what, top five in MVP voting back in like 2016, 17. So yeah, he had an insane season that year, and I was rooting for the best for him. I'm like, he needs to get paid, but sadly that never happened.
Right, right.
Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about your college career at Mississippi State? What led you there after prep school?
Mississippi State was, I always wanted to play in the SEC. Of course, my dream was always to play at UK. And when I kind of realized out of prep school that wasn't going to happen, Mississippi State was my first SEC offer, and it was my first visit. And when I went on a visit, I just bonded with the guys, and Coach Stansbury was from Kentucky. Coach Cunningham, the coach that was the assistant that was recruiting me, was from Kentucky. Then we had a Kentucky kid on the team, and Riley Bennick. So I felt like just the instant connection. And then Coach had, kind of told me that I would have an opportunity to play and, really, have an impact on the floor. And he was going to let me continue to play point guard at my size.
Mhm.
So I felt that it was a no-brainer to go there. But I had a great time there. I mean, I spent 2.5 years there. I had double hip surgery there. My freshman year, we won an SEC championship. In my sophomore year, I sat out the entire season, and then my junior year, I started half the year. Then I decided to transfer. But
Mhm.
nothing but great things about Mississippi State. Man, I love the food there, the people.
Mhm.
Football was awesome there. The environment for football and baseball, really really great town. So I had nothing but positive. I had nothing but a positive experience there.
I hear you. And I know Rick Stansbury as well. He was the WKU men's basketball head coach whenever I was at WKU. Sadly, he couldn't get us to the NCAA tournament. Like every year, we would always fall short in the CUSA championship game. I'm like, will we ever get over the hump? And then,
Y'all never got to the tournament. They never got to the tournament with him as the coach.
nope, not at WKU. We would always lose in the CUSA championship game every year.
Every
Like
year. Wow.
it felt like that. Like probably out of the 40 years I was there, we probably lost in the CUSA championship game two or three out of the 40 years, you know.
Oh,
Well, it was awful, especially like my last year being in Bowling Green. Like we had the game in the second half, we played great. Like we came back and then we lost in overtime.
wow. It stinks, man.
Yeah, you're not wrong. What did you learn the most while you were at Mississippi State, though?
Uh, it just taught me to fight through adversity on another level. Because I went there and I was expecting to start as a freshman. Uh, Sprained my foot in preseason, my freshman season, so I missed like 3 or 4 weeks. And the guy that I was competing with got the job, and so I had to come off the bench for my freshman season. And so it was just, it was a different level of adversity that I had never faced. I had always been a starter on every team I played on. And so I had to embrace a backup role. Um, I would say that's it. And then going through my injuries, my in sophomore year, I was on crutches the entire year, like because I had spent 6 months getting one hip done, and then 6 more months getting the other hip done. So for a whole year, I was on crutches, and then going through physical therapy and all of that. So it was hard. It was the first time in my life that basketball was taken away from me. Um, but also too, it made me realize that there was more to life
Mhm.
outside of basketball. And that's when I started to really start to look around and really notice that I was like really smart. I've always knew I was smart.
Mhm.
But of course, basketball was always in the forefront of my mind, and NBA. making a lot of money playing basketball. So when I was able to sit down at my sophomore year, I started to realize, man, I'm very smart, and this business thing is what I want to do in my life. And
Mhm.
I started to kind of make the transition then.
And how was the transition?
Man, it's been awesome for me, man. But it's been a lot of ups and downs. Trying to basically create a new identity for yourself. For 23 years, my entire life was predicated on not playing basketball, and especially for people in Kentucky, that's every time you see me, you talk about UK basketball, you talk about what I was did in high school, but um, I wrote a book as soon as I graduated from college, and I never looked back. I told myself, listen, I want to be great in business. I want to have an impact on the youth. I want to be somebody who motivates and inspires people. There's a lot of ups and downs, with what I do, but I've stayed the course, and I would like to say my transition has been beautiful.
Hmm.
Um,
And what was the book that you wrote? I was trying to find it on my phone because I had it written down, but I can't find it right now.
I saw good. It was a full court press, conquering adversity under pressure,
Hmm.
where I
And
just talk about how I grew up, where I grew up, my upbringing, and then that book also like details a lot of like that championship season in Kentucky. And so it's a really good book, man. I wrote it my senior year once I had back surgery. So I would go to practice, I would go to class, and then I would go to my room every night and just write. Um, None of my teammates knew I was writing. I kept it to myself. And, when the season was over, I talked to Coach Cal about doing my forward. He did it, and I mean, it was an awesome book, man.
mhm. And can people still buy it? Is it on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. Yep.
I'll definitely have to look into possibly getting it. I'll probably get
No,
it this
I
weekend.
got you. You don't have to buy it, man. I got you. But the next time I see you, I'll bring you.
All right, sounds good. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so with you mentioning kind of making the shift to the business world, you've mixed business and basketball together a little bit with the TBT. One thing that I just have off rip, I know you experienced kind of the fan base and everything while you were a player and everything, and just how chaotic and crazy the fan base can get. Did the crowd shock you in any way whenever you saw kind of the reaction to La Familia being Kentucky's team and the turnout that the crowd brought?
Oh no, nothing that has anything to do with BBN will shock you. Like our fans are always going to be the the we're always going to pack the arenas.
Mhm.
We're always going to sell out merchandise. We're going to show up in large numbers. So I think the thing for me was I was so surprised, not surprised. I was just so elated at how the guys felt to come back again and get that love. For me, I wanted to watch when the guys walked down to the into the arena. I was just watching the guys' reactions, and to see everybody up, standing on the feet, cheering these guys on again, like them having a chance to relive that moment, I think was what did it for me. I knew what we were going to expect, and I knew it. I just felt the energy all week, and I think the best thing for me was those guys running out of the tunnel for the first time and seeing all those people stand up
Mhm.
and chant. Man, it was a special feeling.
Yeah, and it's going to be electrical in Memorial Coliseum, seeing it renovated. It'll be crazy to see how many fans pack into that stadium. Or
Oh man, I can't wait. It's gonna be electric. Playing in a smaller venue, I think it's gonna give us an advantage, more of an advantage. Crowd's gonna be on top of you. It's gonna be loud, and we're gonna be ready to go.
Yeah, I was there at Rupp last year, and I'm super excited to get out to Memorial this year. It's gonna be
Oh
amazing.
yeah, let's go. Let's go. We ready.
it's going. You're not wrong. It's definitely going to be amazing. I went to, I don't know, one or two games last year for sure. I wish I could have gone to more, but I was busy. But during the one or two games I went to, it was very nice.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Mhm. And I know you're the GM of La Familia. I mean, how did you organize that team last year, and now how are you organizing this team, compared to last year?
Oh man, you get a chance to recruit. Well, I get a chance to recruit UK players, which is fun to me. And I looked at this like in which it is. I've always wanted to work, which I have in like a NBA front office or something like that. But no, what I'm saying is I haven't worked in the front office, but I've always wanted to be in the business of basketball to that level. Um, and then so I looked at this opportunity as kind of being that, right? So I get a chance to recruit players, set up appearances, schedule, book flights, set up events. But the biggest thing for me was I love to evaluate talent and build and roster construct. So I looked at a list and went down who was available. Who were former UK guys that weren't in the NBA, and I started picking up the phone and making calls, and trying to see who would fit with who, and man, it was awesome. And so we like last year we built a great team. We should have won a championship, came up a little short, and this year I think we're just as deep as we were last year. Athletic, young, got a little younger. And the guys are gonna be ready to go, man. I'm excited. They'll be here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And what do you think was the biggest challenge in organizing the team last year as well?
I mean, with everything comes as challenges. I would say, uh, recruiting the guys wasn't hard at all because it's easy to sell BBN and coming back to play for Kentucky. I think I would say, it's a full time job. It's nothing you can do like in your spare time. You have to put a lot of time into this. Um, and so I think there were challenges with that. Just make because you got to coordinate 11 guys' schedules. Uh, but we were able to do it effectively, and we're currently doing it again.
Mhm. You're not wrong. And hopefully, like you said, this year we win the championship, win the $1 million.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll
I
see.
shouldn't say we, but you
Nah,
all,
it's we, man. We are one. We are La Familia. We are a family. So
yeah.
we are
Yeah,
one.
so added to the team this week, there's been three, but two were kind of just like it was weird how they kind of got announced. Ansley got announced, like officially the La Familia page and everything, but then Archie Goodwin and Khalil Whitney, the Dragon, like they were kind of I don't know,
So,
it
well,
felt
so
like
what happened was it was a mistake made. They wasn't supposed to be announced yet.
okay.
So we announced Ansley, and Archie and Khalil were getting announced next, and somehow it leaked and get out there. My phone started buzzing, and I'm looking at my social media, and I'm like, "What the hell has happened?" And but I talked to both of those guys. They were okay. They weren't upset because I want every guy to get their feel the love again, to have a proper introduction. So I was really upset about it leaking, but I've talked to both of those guys, Archie and the Dragon, and they're both excited to have proper introductions, which will come, I think, Friday and Monday.
Hey, that'll
Yeah,
be
no. That'd be amazing. I was confused on how it kind of because it was so weird. There was just like a couple accounts that put it up, but there was never the official account at the time. So like it was just weird, but super exciting to add those guys because Archie obviously has the veteran role as like a guy that's played in it, and then Khalil Whitney kind of a guy coming back that I mean I don't know if he necessarily had a I don't know how his experience was, but it's just like a weird situation, the whole thing. So I think BBN being able to shower him with love is going to be awesome for him. And then Ansley just left, so it's awesome to just kind of keep him here.
Yeah,
It'd be sweet.
I mean, especially with Khalil. I mean, I had a relationship with Khalil before his freshman year here, and of course, on the outside looking in, kind of saw what he went through. And so for me, when he posted, I think a couple weeks ago, and went viral and got all the love again, I said, man, I think it'd be awesome for him to come back because he's a really good player. Sometimes I think schools just don't work out for certain people. Um, he's 6'6", 6'7", long, rangy, athletic, can get up and down. I think he's really going to help us this year, and I'm excited for him to get back and feel the love and have a good vibe here.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It'll be sort of like a redemption story, I feel like, for Khalil Whitney, like he left, during mid-season at UK. And of course, I saw his TikTok as well, just talking about how he might have just needed a hug, while he was at Kentucky and he could have stayed. But I feel like it could be a good redemption story for him.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him. Is there any other like expected guys that should announce soon? Like obviously you can't name names, but is there any other like kind of looming that may be announced soon?
Yeah, we got one or two more irons in the pot that we're
Okay.
working on. I think we're gonna add one or two non-UK guys this year too.
Ooh,
Uh,
Sweet.
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, the one
just,
from the last,
just like we added Karim last year. He
He
wasn't
balled out.
he
yeah.
wasn't a UK guy, so we're looking to add maybe one or two players outside of the family that we're open to bringing people into the family and letting them get that platform. So we're talking to some people right now.
You're not wrong. Yeah, Kareem, like you said, Kareem Cantor became a fan favorite quickly for UK fans, and then it was cool to see, Enos Freedom or Enos Cantor, come to the Final Four game
Well,
against Ohio State last year. Like
yeah,
that was a special moment as well.
yeah, it was, man. It was special. Because I was a teammate of his, so seeing him come back and support his brother, it was awesome, man. This whole thing is just amazing, man. Like, I could have never dreamed there would be, this type of energy around a TBT team.
And what can fans expect this summer?
Just a team that, just like last year, man, we play hard. We play together for each other. Going to be well coached. We're going to be long, rangy, athletic, get up and down. Going to push the pace a little bit more this year. Hungry. And of course, like we made it to the Final Four last year, came up short, so we kind of got a redemption angle to this as well. So, man, we're just looking forward to seeing everybody in Memorial, and hopefully everybody come with the energy because we're gonna bring it.
Yeah, you mentioned the coaching, so nothing like in a bad way towards Tyler Lewis, but what's something that Coach Woods brings differently from how Tyler Lewis did it?
Yeah, I mean, nothing towards bad towards Tyler. You know, Tyler's one of the best point guards to play in the Cal era. And so his unique ability to see the game and the way he saw it was dope for me because I'm a high IQ guy, so I was able to have some conversations with him that I kind of learned some stuff from him. But Deshaun Woods is just he's a kind of old school, just hard. Let's go hard. Let's run it down your throat mentality type of person, and just the way he's got 20 some odd years of coaching experience. So just the way he prepares and the way he gets guys to play extremely hard, I think is something that I'm looking forward to.
You're not wrong. And then I know coming up next weekend, or not next weekend, next month, you've got Champions Weekend. Can you walk us through what inspired this upcoming event?
Yeah, so I of course as I mentioned previously, man, I just love to inspire people, give back, help. So I came up with the idea of like, okay, these guys are going to come back to Lexington. Let's see if we could, get the guys in the community and allow like the fan base to be around them and touch them without just coming to see them play basketball. So I put together several events starting Friday, July 11th, with a backpack drive, backpack giveaway at the Elwood Hotel from 1 to 3 p.m. If you out there and you want to volunteer, you can come by help. And then that night, I wanted to get the guys around some business people or just network with the community. So we have a networking event from 5:30 to 8 at the Elwood called a networking social. So if you're around town, you want to come and just network and maybe meet a new connection or just chop it up with people, come by. Saturday morning we have a free basketball camp. Got like 250 slots open, which I was thrilled about last year. We packed it out last year. And then Saturday night we got the charity game at Tate Street High School. Going up to 5. The game starts at 6. So it'll be a lot of these guys with some little bit mixture of like local players as well. Try to get some local tie-in. And then Sunday morning we have a golf scramble at the University Club. Registration starts at 7. Tea time's 8 o'clock. So full pack weekend, and then Monday morning, man, we start practice. So it's busy.
It sounds very busy, and I know you mentioned everything with the basketball camp, charity game, and the golf scramble. How are you balancing, honoring the UK athletes, but also making an impact in the Lexington community as well?
Man, uh, this is how you celebrate them. Is them getting out in the community and just seeing, the love and allowing people to be around them and making them feel special again. I wanted it to be more than just coming back to play basketball. I wanted it to be more about coming back. You might meet a connection that can help you in business, or you might be inspired to start doing your own nonprofit work or whatever the case may be. I wanted to give the guys options and experience us how to just play basketball when they come back.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's gonna be super exciting. Like you said, it's gonna be a chaotic weekend, and then it's gonna be right into it, right into TBT.
Yeah, man, it's a lot going on that weekend, man. For we are from event to event, but the guys just, you get to just have fun, let your hair down and have fun for a couple of days, not come right in and just get right to practice. And get to
Yeah.
relax. Might want to go eat somewhere Saturday night, Friday night, whatever the case may be. So you
Mhm.
kind of get your mind right. So then when Monday comes, we full go. I think the question was how important are my relationships with
With Coca-Cola and
Coca
yeah.
Cola. Man, awesome. Coca Cola Consolidated is my main sponsor. So the weekend's powered by Coca Cola Consolidated. And of course, life is all about relationships, right? And we all want the same thing: is to have an impact in the Central Kentucky community. And Meyer graciously is our partner with donating majority of the food for the backpacks to be stuffed with. So man, it's just amazing how like you can sit at the table and have one goal and bring a group of people together to achieve one mission.
Mhm.
So I'm just thankful for all of our partners. I'm thankful for everybody that's involved in this weekend, and it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait for the weekend again.
I do have one more TBT question. So there's been a lot of names kind of floating last year, this year. I'm sure it's chaotic with social media, people just saying all the names in the world to reach out to. But is there anybody that you could name that you've pursued that just hasn't been able to work out, like for any particular reason? Has there been any name that Kentucky fans will maybe get excited for, or just a name in general that you've pursued that hasn't been able to get over and join the team?
I'll say this because I don't want to personally put somebody out there, but I've swung for the fences. Uh,
Okay.
so if you don't see them on the roster, um, I've tried.
Yeah, it ain't because you ain't tried.
Yeah, that won't be. It'll never be. If somebody's on the roster that a lot of people think should be on the, somebody's not on the roster that a lot of people think should be on the roster, they're not on the roster because I didn't try.
Yeah.
Things work out. People's schedules are different in the summer. So I just control what I can control and try to recruit. So hopefully at some point, those type of people are playing for us in the future.
That wraps up another great conversation here on Conversations with Chris and Cameron. A big thank you to Twany Beckham for joining us and sharing his powerful journey from Kentucky basketball to leading La Familia and organizing Champions Weekend. If you want to get involved or learn more, visit betterlifestyleevents.com. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the show, whether it's on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. But we appreciate you all watching, and we'll catch you here next time.